Hey guys, my name is Cody Beastman, and here's my recap for my Single Staff 101 class at Wildfire, August 2014. Alright, so basically the class we go over 3 general styles of staff manipulation. First of all, we start with traditional spinning, which we have our hip reel, we have a shoulder reel, and we have some cool ways to put those together with this tangent cleaving motion. Put the pinky wick behind you and go back to your hip reel. Tangent cleaving motion, thumb wick behind you, shoulder reel. You can combine those for some cool little things. And then we have hand over hand rotors, which are a pretty common thing in staff manipulation if you ever play with a bow staff. And then we have windmills, in which we pass it with our thumb pointing down each time. And you can add extra beats to that as well, such as and then we have a figure 8 in which we hold the center point, our thumb pointing, and we cut a figure 8. Alright. Next stuff we talked about was basics of contact manipulation. The first thing we did was we tried this cradle position on the back of our wrist, and we picked it up and brought it back down. Then we picked it up and moved it to the other side of us.
Can't get any weirder.
Then we picked it up and we moved to the other side of it and felt that whole recovery balance thing. The staff stays straight and we move. Then after that we did our wrist wraps, horizontal in both directions. Then we did vertical wrist wraps in both directions. After that we did neck wraps, which are simple. We did them horizontally. You place center point on the back of your neck and let it wrap around. And then vertical. Then we did our neck wraps into an arm spiral by lifting our shoulder and scooping up. Then after that, we did another arm spiral from the hand. You hold your thumb to the right of center point, a half beat, and release. And let it roll down to your shoulder and pinch it. Then the goal of all this is to do a
now
steer.
I'm dead.
Oh, well, there's a problem.
Well, now I'm dead, but before I was tired.
That is basically the majority of the contact we touched on in class. Lastly, we did some contemporary pattern spinning, which basically involves that reel we touched on earlier. Something called an isolation, in which I keep one wick isolated at my shoulder while the other makes a big circle. Then something called an anti-spin. This is a concept in which the object spins in a direction opposite of its path of rotation. So the anti-spin works by beginning with your pinky pointing down, and have it pinch in between your thumb and index finger. You imagine a square around you, and you punch to the left wall, punch up to the right wall, and down. Here's where the difficult part happens. When you go for the right wall, you have to make sure that this back wick folds behind your elbow. Otherwise, you get caught and you can't continue. See? So, behind your elbow, fold up. And if you notice, this folding motion makes a quarter of a circle every time. Then, what we did was we combined those 3 concepts in weird different ways to where every time I have a wick at my shoulder, I can switch from a reel to an isolation to an anti-spin. And we can chop these up in quarters. Just do one of these whenever it feels right. And this is a great way to improvise and just come up with all kinds of random cool ways to dance around. And that's basically the gist of my Single Staff 101 class. Thank you.